How to Manage Personal Finances book, Chapter 2, Obstacles to Learning About Personal Finance. This is Ken Boyd. An author's note, I'm posting a text version of the entire book on Substack. The link takes you here. And video versions on YouTube, which will take, and if you click on this link, it will, in Substack, it will take you to the playlist. So you can go find the playlist at Ken Boyd STL. You can email me at ken@stltest.net for details on the book's publishing in late 24 or early 25. So chapter 2, change is hard. Any change is hard because we have too many choices. And I like this quote from Winston Churchill: to improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. In 2017, Trinidad and Tobago, a country of slightly less than 1.4 million people, beat the U.S. men's soccer team, a country of 325 people, to eliminate the U.S. from the World Cup soccer tournament. Back then, we Americans got all jacked up on having a new coach, new members, but we didn't seem to make much progress in women's soccer. Serious change was needed, a lot more than just the status quo. Comparatively, the U.S. women's team won the World Cup in 15 and 19, proof that the U.S. could figure out international soccer. The reason that people don't diet, don't exercise, and don't solve bad personal relationships is that change is hard. And as a result, we don't really truly change and grow unless we're in real pain. When we're at the point where the pain of change is less severe than the pain of not changing, that's the point where we might take action. But the fact remains that change is really hard. So let me give 2 examples. Too many choices. All I needed was deodorant. The exact type was Dove MenCare Extra Fresh, gray packaging with the light green square on the label. I've used it for years. You may have seen commercials. When I got to Target, I was faced with a tsunami of choices. Double Load had dozens of deodorant options. The differences in packaging were only slight, very tough to tell the differences. I had to lie down in the aisle, take a nap, and then make my choice. Okay, I'm lying about the nap, but I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. We have far too many choices with everything: food, clothing, entertainment, business products, and tools. So here's another example. Isn't it all dog food? According to an industry source, the American Pet Product Association ownership survey in 1718 found 68% of U.S. households own a pet. I do. And spend an average of $300 annually on pet food and treats. I just went to the pet store last weekend. The U.S. pet food market is expected to reach $30 billion by 2022 or way beyond that now. That's a lot of Alpo. And you might remember Ed McMahon doing live spots on the Tonight Show for Alpo with a real dog. You could go out on YouTube and find the commercials. Another quote from the same source: pet food and treat options available to U.S. pet owners have exploded in recent years. GfK reports the number of brands has increased 71% since 2017, and by 2018, we had 630 different brands. It's probably even more now. I haven't checked. There's a term that describes this issue, and it's called the paradox of choice. Lots of choices is not necessarily a great thing. If you listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast, which I highly recommend, I never miss one, you'll often hear about the paradox of choice, and here's a definition. The paradox of choice stipulates that while we might believe that being presented with multiple options makes it easier to choose one we are happy with and thus increase our consumer satisfaction, having abundance of options actually requires more effort to make a decision, leaving us feeling less satisfied with our choice. Think about the hundreds of stocks, thousands of mutual funds, dozens of financial advisors that you're bombarded with. This is the point I'm getting at. Deciding between multiple options requires more time, creates more distractions, and the quote continues. When the number of choices increase, so does the difficulty in knowing which is best. Instead of increasing our freedom to have what we want, the paradox of choice suggests having too many choices actually limits our freedom. We've got to use a lot of brain power and effort to make a choice when we have so many options. Many people believe that having dozens or hundreds of choices is a good thing. It turns out it may not be. Not sure if you buy that argument. We'll think about investing, which I touched on, which will come up in chapter 3. So that's as far as we'll get right now. You can find the entire book by chapter on Substack and YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.